And good afternoon. This is KC9VKV, and welcome into the QSO-VLOG network. From now until 5, we will be recording live. So if you have a radio, you want to check out the audio, we will be doing that. So just check in and say hello, and we will be posting the recording up on YouTube within the next couple of days. Also, if you happen to have a radio that you want to need a little assistance in setting up the audio and transmit, we do that also. And just a word of information, this afternoon we'll be running 4 SDRs, hoping to be able to get better signal levels from some of the 100-watt stations. We'll be running Rochester, New York, Atlanta, Georgia, in place of the North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina didn't want to come up this afternoon, so we're running Atlanta instead. And we just lost Rochester because of inactivity. I don't know why they do that. I can't activate that all the time. We're going to bring that back up again. It's what a way to start a show, getting kicked off the an SDR. Anyway, the other ones would be Milford, PA, which is our old reliable, and the Alexandria, Virginia SDR will be with us this afternoon. So we should have a good time. Our main antenna locally will be our new 10-foot mag loop antenna, and we will be mainly keeping that oriented at 0 degrees, which with any luck at all will be somewhere near north. Anyway, let's check and see if Charlie, K1GZL, is with us this afternoon. Charlie?
I'm here. KC9VKV, Go ahead.
Roger. Well, welcome aboard, sir. Everything going okay up that way?
Here, was out this morning. I had a nice chat with Ian, VK9, VK3 Mike Oscar down northwest of Melbourne. He was speaking 35 over 9, but with their 2 robots, one on top of the other, he gets a lot of gains. He says that's going over towards New York City. Well, I got just a second or two of him, what he sounded like this morning on the 20th of September 2019, and here's Ian. Oh, got it. W130, K1GZL. Traffic to Kilo 3 Mike Oscar. Yeah, basically the progress report button at 30 over 9. K1 GZL with WA30. Traffic to Kilo 3 Mike Oscar near Melbourne in southeastern Australia returning. Okay, how did that come through, Jim? Propagation was very good, and I'm sure your loop antenna would have made it this morning. KC9VKV, K1GZL.
Roger, Charlie. Well, gosh, I'll tell you, the SDRs aren't working real well this afternoon. We got bumped off the Rochester, New York SDR just as we were going on the air, and so I was using Atlanta. You were doing well into Atlanta. Then I switched to Milford, and you were doing a little bit better there. And so by that time I had got Rochester back up, and the last part of your transmission was on the Rochester SDR, and that was pretty good. The transmission that you rebroadcast again is kind of I don't know, peaky, I would say, the level, and by the time you just adjust for 0 level, then the rest of it is kind of a lower level. Roger.
Lower level. Roger. Okay, well, check out here, but maybe something KC9VKV. I didn't get you completely in the log here. K1GZL returning.
Mike called in. He's Mobile. I don't know if you can hear Mobile. He's worked Mike before. WA3 Ontario. And he's out in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area. Let me see if you copy Mobile. And it's Mobile. He's traveling. I don't know if he's going to be on the road very long. But I'll turn it over to Mike. KC9VKV over to WA30. If you copy Jim, Mike. K1GZL. Go ahead, Mike.
Charlie, I don't have a copy on him at all. Roger, roger.
Roger, he's going to turn it to me now. Right? Okay, 73, Mike, 73, and Jim broke in and said he was not copying. He was not copying. You're running an S8 here. When you turned up the power a bit in the car, you went up to S8. Yeah, I'm sorry, Jim, that recording didn't come through. It looks like it did here. Over the radio. Over the radio, it can be something totally different. And some of those SDRs, they don't have the quality of some of the other ones. The best quality is right directly from your own station, right on from your own station there, Jim. So Mike has signed. Right now, he's heading to Weirton, West Virginia. He's about 40 miles west of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in that narrow neck of northern West Virginia. And he was there in his Mobile. KC9VKV, K1GZL.
Roger, roger, Charlie. Well, gosh, do you know what wattage he started with before he bumped up?
I'm not sure, but I suspect it was about 20 watts or less. But he was 100 watts. He turned it up.
Roger, roger. Yeah, probably needed to have started with that today. It's kind of slippery out there. 40 meters is kind of a slippery prospect today. Roger, roger.
Prospect today. Roger, roger.
Yeah, but boy, this morning it was hot. This morning it was hotter than official. I was hearing several. Ian with that stacked rock was just blasting full point, nothing even in there. And I'm sorry the recording did not come through too well on that, Jim. Jim. Real fine. So you do a marvelous job. You do a marvelous job on helping people with their radios, and I just hope that will continue. My loading up here is not that great. Not that great. I'm resonating at 7152. 7152. I get up here on 1.9 to 1, 1.9 to 1, and the loading is weird. I have crazy way of just getting 1100 watts out, which I'm running now. I get about I run 1450 when I'm down near 7150, but my antenna is very sharp on. So back over to Jim, and hopefully the weather is. I hope the weather is K1GZL.
Roger, roger, Charlie. Well, you know, gosh, the best laid plans of mice nor men, these SDRs, the only one that's working well at the moment, and that's kind of marginal, was the Rochester, New York SDR. And usually, you know, Milford does real well, but it wasn't in the perfect place today, I guess, and Rochester was. Charlie, we'll say threes to you up there. You stay. What temperature up there again?
What temperature up there again?
About 65 degrees, and that's the warmest day we've had in a while. 65, and tomorrow it may go over 70. The normal high temperature now is 59 degrees, 59 degrees. The normal low is 43. That is normal on this date. Well, let me try just a second to be in. See if it's better. I made some adjustments and see if tape sounds better. I think it would sound better if it came through your own station instead of Rochester, but let's see.
Progress records at 30 over 9. K1 GZL with WH 30. Victor Kilo 3 Mike Oscar near Melbourne in Australia returning.
Okay, was that better than the first time? I think we can change it here. Go ahead.
Roger, Charlie. It was a little sounding compressed, compressed, but definitely it was a lot more readable. Roger, Roger.
A lot more readable. Roger, Roger.
Okay. Mike, start with you on frequency. How did it sound in Weirden? Real fine. And real fine. And just keep up the good work there. So I'll tell you what. I'll sign on this one. I'll sign on this one and give you a chance. To work other stations there. And you're running 10 over 9 direct. You're running 10 dB over 9 direct. I'm not getting as much on your signal when I switch to my other 3-element beam going straight up. That's because we're on F layer. We're not on sporadic E. It's for F layer. Always up here. KC9VKV, K1 GZL, Clarksville, Northern New Hampshire.
Roger, Charlie. Well, gosh, Rochester, now, instead of inactivity, they say, sorry, your 30 minutes are up. It just, you can't win for losing on those jobs. It seems like some are more difficult to work with than others. But anyway, Charlie 3 is up that way, sir. You have a good day and a great weekend. And all things being equal and the creeks don't rise, we'll see you next Friday afternoon for another QSO-VLOG. So 3s for now. Roger.
Okay, 73 Jim, the very best. I just did get a call. Here in West Virginia, through Pittsburgh, and he was 75. So I'm going to join him down around 7150. We're just Jim always explains to me something on the rig. Don't touch anything. KC9VKV, K1 GZL, clear, and Mike, I'll join you in about a minute. 73, Jim, a pleasure.
Roger, Charlie 3 that way, sir. This is the KC9VKV QSO-VLOG network. We are recording live till 5. If you have a radio you want to check out the audio, give me a shout. This is KC9VKV.
Kilo Bravo 9,
Alpha Bravo 5, Victor Juliet.
Victor Juliet station, come back with a call again, please.
Thank you there, Jim. This is Alpha Bravo 5, Victor Juliet. The name is Dan, Delta Alpha November, and I'm located in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. We talked last week, and I got a chance to hear my QSO. Oh, go ahead.
Roger. Well, how did it go?
Well, it sounded pretty good. Calls you had before me, you lost them. Actually, the one just before myself, I was about 20 minutes in. But sounded really good. Thank you so much for that. I had a question for you. I wondered where you got your on-air light that's up there in the background. Over.
Let's see, which one is that, sir?
Well, the red one at the top, not the right above QSO-VLOG. You got the on-air light.
Oh, that is a vinyl reproduction as done by my brother-in-law, who specializes in 90% of my set. Roger?
Oh, roger that. Well, that kind of caught my eye there when I went and listened to the recording. I'm looking to get one of those. How do you feed a signal to it to get it to come on when you transmit?
Oh, it's on all the time. It is a vinyl picture, Roger.
Oh, a picture. Okay, all right. Didn't have I had my headphones kind of cocked to the side there. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking for a light. I want to get a light that will illuminate, when I transmit over.
Roger. I would say check with eBay or one of those. Probably be able to fix you up, Roger.
Hey, Roger that. Roger that. Hey, I really enjoyed your little your story about your tomato can and green bean can, the tuner there. That's pretty ingenious.
Roger. Well, it worked pretty good. I got it down to about a 1.5 SWR. Like on a regular tuner, I could get it down at 100 watts. I could get a regular tuner down to 1-to-1, but for a kilowatt, I didn't have any bladed stuff that would handle that, and so the cans did work. They were, the little can had about an inch around it to the outside of the big can, and then I had the insulation there. It wasn't rubber, gosh, it was I can't think of it right now, but a really good insulator. So it was probably the equivalent of a 40 kVA tuning capacitor, Roger.
Oh, roger that. Okay, very good. Well, I'm glad it served the purpose. I have a receive-only loop here that I've been using. I just put up there on the roof, probably about 5-10 feet off the roof. I'd say it's 25 feet maybe in the air. Put it on a rotor, lightweight rotor, and I'm really enjoying using the loop. Although albeit a smaller loop, I think you have yours you can transmit with. But I really enjoy using the loop, especially listening to radio stations late at night. Boy, it really works well.
Oh, roger that. Yeah, we conducted some good tests with the mag loop. Ours is a 10-foot mag loop, so on 40 meters. So if a loop had a chance of doing well, a 10-foot mag loop on 40 meters should do it. So we had quite a few shootouts with some SDRs around the country, and by and large, our inverted V was at least a few S units above it, or maybe 1 or 2 S units above the best day of the mag loop. So as far as a transmitting device, the mag loop, it's kind of an also-ran, but as far as a receiver antenna, it is really outstanding. And I am now working on a 17-foot vertical mag loop that will be in the same vicinity as the 10-foot mag loop, and I think I will be running a 3-position rotary switch. One will be for the 10-foot mag loop, one will be for the 17-foot mag loop, and the third will be where they will be co-phased together. I'll have a lot of different options there as far as mag loop antennas, Roger.
Well, roger that. That's very interesting. Yeah, the magnetic loops have always interested me. And as far as, bringing the noise floor down so much, that's what's really nice about it. I was listening to a Nashville station about 700 miles away last night, and crystal clear, just some nice music. It was coming in, sounded so good on AM. Okay, well, yeah, I think I may look into building something like that a little bit larger. Yours, I thought I heard you saying you were using hardline. Is that what you use for the loop?
Roger, yeah, it's 1-inch, HELIAXE, 1-inch HELIAXE for both the 10-foot mag loop and the 17-foot mag loop.
Oh, fine business. Yeah, I think I may do that now that I have this little, small one. I may venture into home brewing something larger. All right, well, hey, I won't hold it. I know you probably have some others out there like to get their audio tuned up. Well, thank you so much for the QSO there, and we'll talk to you again soon. KC9VKV, AB5VJ, 73.
Roger, Roger, Dan 3Z-Way, sir. Have a good afternoon and a great weekend. And again, as usual, if you want to check out your audio, we were receiving you this afternoon on our 10-foot mag loop. And just FYI, I don't know, what kind of power you're running right now, Dan?
100 watts only, no amplification.
Oh, Roger, Roger. I was just going to say, word of caution, if you were running the your mag loop in a B antenna position and you were running bunches of power, you need to put a mute switch in there so your B input is muted when you transmit. At least you get a bunch of too much RF in your radio, Roger.
Oh, Roger, yes, now that's very important. Very important, and I will take heed. So thanks a lot, Jim. Have a good afternoon. KC9VKV, AB5VJ.
Roger, Roger, Dan 3Z-Way, sir. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor, Kilo Victor, and the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG network. If you've got a radio you want to check out the audio, give us a shout. KC9VKV.
Kilo Bravo 9, Alpha Zulu Zulu.
Kilo Bravo 9, come back with the call sign one more time, please.
KB9AZZ, Alpha Zulu Zulu.
Roger, Roger. Now, is ZZ, are you a Canadian station?
Not with a Kilo Bravo 9, no.
I was joking. I mean, I think, ZZ, a lot of those are Canadian folks, Roger. They love that word.
Oh, you bet, you bet. Yeah, I picked up the ZZ thing from living overseas in the military and working a lot of VKs and ZLs. I say that, of course, correct phonetic would be Zulu Zulu. So my question is, I picked up a new Heil boom microphone. I'm running a Fox Tango 890 and an Ameritron AL811 at about 400 watts.
Roger, and what was the question?
Audio quality.
I'm sorry?
The quality of my audio.
Oh, well, Mother Nature is give and take this afternoon on 40. Give me about 10 or 15 seconds on your antenna system. I'll see if I can find a better signal source and evaluate your audio. Roger?
Sure. I just want to make sure I'm not over-processing, but, too much mic gain, etc. So the antenna system is a homebrew 40-meter vertical. It's made out of 25G power sections. It's 250 feet out from the shack. It's fed with half-inch cable TV hardline, and I have 32 radials in the ground at about 3 inches deep. The base of the antenna is insulated. That's a homebrew affair made out of 6-inch PVC pipe. And the antenna's been up for about 4 years now, and has survived all manner of snow and ice and heavy wind. They're over.
Roger, Roger. Well, in your audio, it sounds like you've got a boost somewhere around 1.5K. What radio are you running?
A Fox Tango 890. I have a feeling it's the Heil HC6 microphone element that's doing that.
Is that, well, let's take care of the problem then. Do you have a 2-band EQ, 3-band EQ, or what kind of equalization are you running?
None. It's directly plugged into the radio. And the 890 is an older radio from 1990.
Oh, that has no internal EQ?
Negative.
Okay, well, let's see here. It does sound a little mid-rangey, and I could just visualize a 3-band EQ and some push on the middle EQ, you know, like the 1KC EQ between the treble and the bass. And I make it a habit to recommend that one leave that mid-range. If you have a 3-band EQ, leave that mid-band EQ flat. That way, your top and your bottom will be more effective in consummating a balance. Otherwise, if you push the mid-range, then the top and the bottom has so much further to go to try to balance the mid-range. So just leave the usually if a 3-band EQ, just leave the mid-range flat, and then EQ the the top and the bottom. But you don't have that problem because you don't have an EQ, Roger.
Zulu Oscar. Correct. Yeah, it's an older radio, but I do like it. It's I also have an IC706. And a KX3, but just wanted to test out this new boom mic. Got it at a ham fest a couple of weeks ago, and I appreciate the sound check. I tell you what I'm going to do, though. I do have a Yaesu microphone set up on a Jets boom. We plug that in, and we'll see how that sounds as well. And I think somebody else is trying to call you. So while I'm rewiring my microphone, I'll get off to the side here and let you work another station. KC9, Victor Kilo Victor, KB9AZZ.
Roger. What's the name there before you go?
Oh, Troy, Tango Romeo Oscar Yankee, and I'm in western Wisconsin. I'll be on the air and back in a few minutes. KB9AZZ.
Alrighty, 3 is for now. KC9VKV QSO-VLOG network in full bloom from now until 5. If you've got a radio, you want to check out the audio, we are recording now live till 5. So give us a shout. There was a station out there that was calling. Go ahead.
Yeah, Kilo Golf 4 Zulu Oscar Delta. I'm just checking out a microphone I just acquired. I just wanted to see if it was working okay.
The Zulu Oscar Delta station, come back with the full call sign, please, phonetically.
Golf 4, KG4ZOD, located, name is Donnie, located in North Carolina.
Roger, Donnie. My fingers don't write fast. Anyway, okay, so come back and tell me about your antenna system. Let me hear you.
Okay, I'm got an invert. Actually, it's a fan dipole it's resonant for 40, 75, and 160, and works everything from 6 to 160.
Okay, I noticed something kind of bumping along on the peaks. I'm not sure exactly what that was, but there was a faint distortion on each peak of the word. What we recommend, if you're running, we recommend that you run your compressor, your processor, but only at about a 3. Engage your processor, but only at a 3. Roger, Roger?
Roger. Well, I don't run a processor because all that's doing is putting extra strain on your final. So I don't ever use your processor.
Well, that's unfortunate because what happens is, without processing, your average peak modulation will be about 30%. Your dynamic range will be 10 dB, and your average percent of peak modulation will be 30%. Whereas, if you had a little processing, you could bring your average peak modulation up to 80-85% with a 3 dB dynamic range. But, everybody's got to run their own station. And, as far as taking a tally on your final, that's what radio's all about. I mean, you could pull your modulation down to 10% and save a bunch of tube life if you wanted to.
Oh, yeah. Okay, now I turned the processor up. You said 3. I got it setting on 3 right there. I don't know. Did that make any difference?
Well, it's the beginning of a process. The next stage, do you have an ALC meter, Roger?
Whiskey 3 Radio Fox.
Standby station.
Yeah, I think it is, yeah.
Okay, engage, well, get your ALC meter running there, and then come back and talk into your microphone normally, and adjust your mic gain until your ALC is reading mid-scale to 2/3. Adjust your ALC by way of your mic gain to where your ALC is running mid-scale to 2/3.
Okay, that's about halfway right there, maybe a little less.
All right, and now tell me about your antenna and for about 10 seconds or so.
Yeah, I said that's halfway right there on the ALC. And I'm running a Kenwood 5, running a Kenwood 850S.
Roger. Now that last transmission, I'm running a Kenwood 820S, was clean, but before that, I was hearing a little bumps on your peaks, and I'm not sure what that is. You know, unless you might be getting a little RF into your audio. But otherwise, I really couldn't say what it was. It's not terrible, but I just noticed that there is a little peak distortion for whatever reason. Roger?
Yeah, that may be because I'm driving the mic too much and I hit certain levels hit too high and it's distorting.
Oh, Roger. Well, that's the reason behind running the compressor. That will take care of those peaks, and you know, once you begin speaking, it will set your level within reason, you know. And then what happens is that preconditions your audio, and then as the audio flows through the transmitter, it's at a good level, and then when it comes up on the ALC, what you're looking at on the ALC meter is the output of your limiter. Now, most folks don't realize that there is a limiter that's in back of all your audio, and what that limiter is designed to do is to keep the excursions in your bandpass from annoying your next door neighbors as far as you know, RF signals 3 kc off of your main frequency. So, and that's why we suggest running that ALC at mid-scale to 2/3, because that's an easy signal for the limiter to handle, and that will help your audio in that it will achieve a 3 dB dynamic range, which equates to 80 to 85% average peak modulation. Roger?
Hey, Roger. Okay, yeah, I just, hold on just a second.
WA3MIX on frequency.
Roger, Roger, sir. You're next. Just stand by, please.
Roger.
So is that Donnie there in North Carolina?
Okay, I just tried it with the amp on. Could that make any difference? The ALC still staying about the same.
Roger, it's not bad. Now, I wouldn't worry about it right now. The thing to do, you know, a lot of what you do on your radio is determined by how you operate your microphone. Now, you may think that's strange, but your relationship to your microphone is the beginning of the transmission. And so the more redundant you are as far as being able to work your microphone effectively, the better your signal's going to be. So I have suggested in the past that folks take their watt meter to where they can see it as they're speaking, and they can use their watt meter as a VU meter because it is reflecting the amplitude of your voice. So as you're looking at your VU meter, you're seeing your speech level, and you can see if you pull off mic like that, your watt meter will drop off, and if you're back on it where you should be, you can see that on the watt meter also. So it's interesting if the more time you spend watching your watt meter as you QSO, Roger.
Yeah, that's one thing I do. I do keep an eye on the watt meter, and when I'm running the amp, I'll keep a check on the watt meter and the
on the meters on the amp also. Yeah, I try to keep my eye on both of them while I'm talking.
Roger, now that transmission was just perfect. And, you know, I noticed that maybe you might need to clear your voice from time to time, Roger?
Oh, yeah, I'm just getting over a cold.
Roger, and that will put a raspiness in the audio. So you know, when you're not speaking, sometimes you just go ahead and clear your voice in preparation for your next transmission. Roger, Roger.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Sometimes it's hard, especially when you're calling a net.
Yeah, tell me about it. Well, anyway, what was the name there? Donnie or Danny?
Yeah, Donnie, located Burlington, North Carolina. I didn't catch your name and location either.
Roger, Donnie. This is Jim, Juliet, India, Mike. We're located near Louisville, Kentucky. We're just on the other side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville, and the call is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor. And FYI, we are recording this afternoon from 3:30 till 5. So if you want to check out your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our QSO-VLOG page. Right now we're running about 730 QSO-VLOGs, but you'll be looking for a QSO called My Group Aircheck 9/20/19. My Group Aircheck 9/20/19, and it should be, with any luck, on page 1. Roger?
Hey, okay, Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo, what was the last?
Victor Kilo Victor.
And that's Mike Check 80, was that right? 82019.
It will be My Group Aircheck 9/20/19. Today's date. My Group Aircheck 9/20/19. Roger?
Micro Aircheck 9/20/19.
Yes, sir. My group, as in a party. My Group Aircheck 9/20/19. Roger?
Okay, yeah, I wrote it down. When did you say that would be on?
It'll probably take us a couple of days to upload it, so expect it within the next 48 hours. You know, I'll probably upload it sooner than that, but you know, sometimes things get busy, and I don't want to promise something I can't deliver. So I just say it'll be up within the next couple of days. Roger?
Hey, Roger. Okay, yeah, I'll check that out. And by the way, let me invite you. I don't know if you're into it or not, but let me invite you to come to our net. I'm an officer in the 3905 Century Club, and we work nets on 40, 75, 160, 20, and CWPSK, really all the whole 9 yards on everything on the modes. And yeah, if you would check out our website at whiskey3905ccn.com.
Roger that. And just suggesting before you go, do you know how to get to your EQ?
Excuse me again?
Do you know how to bring up your equalizer on your radio?
No, not on this one. I've got two 570S's, and I just got this radio. And I got two 570S's, and I had never looked at the menu on that as far as that goes.
Roger. Well, if you get a chance, I would add 2 or 3 clicks of top-end EQ for that microphone on that radio. It just didn't have you know, the nice edge that would really help you. You know, your basic equalization is correct, but you know, if you just cranked in about 3 clicks more top end, that would put some silk onto your top end of your audio. Roger?
Hey, Roger. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna hook my 570s back up. I got some other stuff I need to do on CW, and I'll do that on there. But yeah, I'll check out that YouTube out. I better write YouTube down, or I'll forget it. But yeah. Anyway, there was something else I was going to ask you, but I can't remember now what it was. It's called age.
Tell me about it. And FYI, I'm receiving you this afternoon on my 10-foot mag loop antenna, and you are doing really well. So I think you'll like your recording. So we'll say 3s for now, and you have a real good day and a real great afternoon and weekend. 3s. Catch you later. It's KC9VKV, and there was another station that was holding a other station. Go ahead.
Okay, Jim, I'll talk to you later, and that's what I was going to tell you. I'm running the the Howl, what is it?
Stand by.
Line, microphone. 73, KG40D.
Roger, Roger, Donnie 3's that way, sir. Good afternoon. And the other station now, go ahead.
With KC9VKV, WA3MIS. Hello, Jim. Name here is Lou, Lima Oscar Uniform, and I'm in Williamsport, PA, Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Over.
Roger, Roger. In Williamsport, what's the name?
Name is Lou, Lima Oscar Uniform.
Roger, Roger. That's my Elmer's name. I got to remember that for sure, Roger.
Yeah, just wondering how the audio sounds on this end. I'm running an Elecraft K3, only about 90 watts, and the antenna's a G5RV at 40 feet.
Sounds good. I've got this banner that I'm waving about high frequency in the audio. If it were me, I would crank in 2 or 3 more clicks on the top end to help the definition on the upper edges of your words, your audio. Roger.
Yeah. Okay, Jim. I do have EQ'd it to my ear, and I should maybe do a little more of that. I cranked in quite a few highs already, but it's a Shure SM58 mic, and maybe it needs that's more a broadcast and high end audio mic. And when you use those with sideband rigs, usually you have to boost the top end a little bit because that's where the intelligibility is. But anyway, don't have an amplifier here, so just glad to be heard anywhere. KC9VKV, WA3MIX.
Roger, Roger. What sounds good. I mean, the basic EQ is there. Just trying to bring the HF community into the VHF, UHF world as far as the quality of the audio. Although we do have certain limitations that the FCC puts upon us in HF, we still can do, we have to go out of our way to try to get our audio into the nice defined area, and a bright audio is very necessary when you're facing the challenges of noise. If your signal is right there fighting with the noise, you want your audio to be as clean and clear as possible, and those high frequencies do help the enunciation of your words cut through the noise to the point that your signal can be right under the noise, and folks can still perceive what you're saying because your audio is nice and crisp. Roger?
Yeah, absolutely. I've worked in broadcasting in fact, I just retired after 47 years or so, and that's what I always tell people when critiquing their audio, that bass is fine for warmth, but the intelligibility is all in the treble, so you certainly want to put some of that in there. For a while I ran a D104, and I liked it because it's got a built-in presence rise to it, and I had a impedance matching op-amp circuit in the base of it to match the impedance. The D104, as you probably know, likes to look into a really, really high impedance, megohms, 10 megohms or more, but the input on most transceivers, of course, is considerably lower than that, so that's what that circuit did, and it worked fine, but it was prone to RF getting into it, so I switched to the Shure SM58 here and re-EQ'd for that. So anyway, good to talk to you, Jim. I'll let you go and see who else you can dig up there. Hope the weather is as good there in Louisville as it is here. It's beautiful and sunny and in the 70s. KC9VKV, WA3MIX.
Roger Lou. That audio is good. I mean, it's got quite a bit of crispiness to it there on the top end as I listened a little bit more. So if you get a chance, I would add a couple of dB, a couple of clicks on the top end there for just a little more push on the syllabic range. But by and large, I think you're there. And we're doing a thing now where we're trying to help people become more aware of their mic technique and their end product on the air, and we are suggesting that they use their watt meter as a VU meter in sideband. A watt meter reflects the amplitude of your voice pretty well. So if you're watching your watt meter as you speak, you can tell when you happen to pull off mic like that, your watt meter drops off, and when you're working it like normal, it should be up there where it normally is. And the more you look at your watt meter, you begin to associate your voice with the loudness. So you become your own compressor, matter of fact, and you speak in a tone where each word is pretty much similar in level to the word before it and the word after it. Roger?
Yeah. It's good to monitor. I do also monitor in the headphones. Let me try something. Let me make a slight adjustment. And that's a little bit. I backed off a little bit on the processing. I wonder if you are hearing any difference, Jim. Over.
Yes, I am. You are now about 3 dB dynamic range. Before you were about 2.5 to 2 dB dynamic range. What we usually are shooting for is a 3 dB dynamic range, which is an average percent of peak modulation of between 80 and 85%. You were pushing just a tad more than that.
Okay, well, I put it back to where it was before. And it's the dynamic mic, and I kind of wish I had the D104 here because it did have, as I say, that nice presence rise built into it, but it was also prone to RF, so I went to the dynamic. All right, we'll let you go, Jim. 73, nice to run into you, and maybe we'll catch you again here sometime soon. Take care. KC9VKV, WA3MIX.
Roger Lou. Now, my Elmer was telling me a sad tale of woe the other day. He called, and he was talking about he went with a friend to pick up a radio, an exciter, for the big radio, and I think they traveled about 200 miles to find this exciter, and I'm not really sure what it was, but it was like an older Johnson Ranger or something like that, about 100 watts or so, driving a bunch of bigger tubes, if you know what I mean there. And Elmer had worked with the guy to set it all up, and had backed out of the room just for a minute to go wash his hands, and all of a sudden there was this commotion, all kinds of noise, the lights dimmed. He came running back into the radio room of this guy, and apparently this guy decided that he didn't like the I think it was RE20 microphone that they were using. He didn't like that, so he had unplugged that microphone and plugged in a D104, and it took off like a big bird, and there were pieces and shrapnel all over the room, Roger.
Yeah, if they're not matched and not set up properly, you can have all sorts of problems. I'm certainly familiar with the RE20 and the D104, but the RE20s have been in most of the broadcast stations I've worked in over the decades. So they're beautiful mics, and they have a nice warm sound, but they tend to need a little help too. Even on the broadcast stations, we usually had a mic processor behind them to shape them a little bit and brighten them up a little bit too, because they tended to have a rather bassy sound.
Roger, but just imagine the gain difference between that RE20 and the D104, and the ability of the D104 to attract all kinds of RF, and they were in, when he keyed down, they were in a heavy RF field.
Yep, I can imagine. That must have gone crazy. The rig, I don't know whether it went into oscillation or what, but that would be kind of crazy. All right, I'm going to run, Jim, and I'll let you see who else you can find here. Thanks for the QSO and for the comments, and we'll catch you again. KC9VKV, WA3MIX.
Roger, Roger, Lou 3Z sir. Have a good afternoon. And pleasures on this end. If you get a chance, go to YouTube and hear your great audio. Do a call letter search on YouTube for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. And when you get to our QSO-VLOG page, you'll be looking for a QSO entitled My Group Aircheck 9/20/19. Today's date. My Group Aircheck 9/20/19. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and this is the QSO-VLOG network. If you have a radio you want to check out the audio, we are recording now live till 5. This is KC9VKV. Was a very weak station back in there. Try it again, please. There was a mobile, sir. You are about 2 dB over my noise, but come back and give me your call sign phonetically one more time slowly.
Alpha number 2, Foxtrot 20 Charlie.
Okay, was there anything before the Alpha 2?
Kilowatt Alpha 2.
Kilowatt Alpha 2. Roger, Roger. What's the name there?
Name is Frank Fox Romeo Alpha Number Kilo. I got you at 9 over, 10 over, so you don't hear me.
Roger. Well, let me give you an example here. This is a kilowatt, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 100 watts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so we are 100 watts now, and now we're back to a kW. So you can see the difference there.
Yeah, that's why, because I'm running stock with a ICOM 7000 and AH4 tuner, 102-inch width. That's why you're so hot, so loud in here.
And what kind of power are you running?
Stock, 100 watts.
How many?
100, stock.
Roger, Roger. Yes, that's a nice starting place. But on 40 today, I tell you what, a lot of times 100 watts will get you at 400 miles. Will get you 2 dB over somebody's noise level. Roger.
I've talked to Australia. So I'll go over the world with this setup as it is. The AH4 won't take more than 100 watts. That's stock hell for it. It's 102-inch width. It's on the back of my truck. At home, I don't have any linears either. Never did run power. So I just work the best I can. I guess if my signal's out low, my audio quality is not going to be that great.
Roger. Now I am copying you a little bit better on the Milford PA SDR. And what was the radio again, please?
ICOM 7000.
All right. We have a setup procedure for most any radio in the world. It involves the first thing is setting your processor, your compressor, at about a 3. Bring your compressor online at about a 3. At a 3, you'll never hear it working, but it does begin the process of fattening. Roger?
Roger. Well, I've had other people tell me that the audio is perfect. I just want to see what it sounds like. Because everybody tells you, leave it alone. Whatever you're doing, don't touch it. So that's why I don't really play with it much.
Yeah, Roger. Well, in looking at it, you do look about 3 dB dynamic range, which is average peak modulation somewhere around 80 to 85%. So I think you've got that part down, Roger, Roger. Tell me about your antenna system for about 10 seconds.
If you take a look at QRZ, you'll see a picture of it. It's a 102-inch whip, side-mounted off my trailer hitch. It comes up level with the body of the truck, and a 102-inch whip above it, with an AH4 tuner tuning it.
Roger, Roger. Well, I think, in retrospect now, you do sound very good, and your EQ is fine, and your dynamic range is fine. You have maximized the possibility of that mobile to the point. Now, the only other thing you could do would be to put a little sidekick in there to help you on the RF department. Roger?
Roger. Yeah, like I said, I like to try a couple things. I do have the transmit bandwidth. If I can give you a couple of counts with the different bandwidths, tell me what you think of the different ones. KC9VKV. That's the mid-range bandwidth on the transmit bandwidth, because we get a setup since it's somewhat SDR radio. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to try the narrow. KA2FWC, this is the narrow. That's the narrow one. I run it mainly on the Y because I figured I'm not punching the DX right now, so I use it. I'm going to go back to the Y. KA2FWC.
Roger, how wide is wide?
Wide.
There's no way. I got to look at the book and tell. I don't remember.
Well, even a mobile can cause problems if you're exceeding much over 3. I recommend 100 to 3. I do recommend 100 to 3, and I also recommend a windscreen for your microphone. Sometimes, mouth noises can be as loud as the words you're saying. So in a way, you are QRMing yourself, whereas a windscreen will take care of all your mouth noises, pops, pees, and, all that stuff, and just leave you with the words, which is what you want.
Yeah, it was a handheld mic, so there's not much to do. The rig, when I first got it, I was on a net, and the guy says, "You have an ICOM 7000. You could tell by the audio. And he showed me there was a YouTube that somebody did on setting up the bandwidth, because it's a prefix thing. There's low, medium, narrow, mid, and wide. And it's just setting the bands. And I did it like they did on YouTube. And like I said, everybody says it sounds good. I just want to hear if there is a difference when I'm talking. So I'll go check out your log in a couple of days when you get it done, and I'll see what I sound like.
Yeah, Roger. Well, they're making those foam windscreens now. Instead of being those long 6-inch jowers that fit all the way down the microphone, the new foam windscreens are only about 3 inches long, or thereabouts, and they just slip right over a hand mic and just do a beautiful job. But anyway, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will be a way to get to our QSO-VLOG page, and on that page you'll be looking for Aircheck called My Group Aircheck 92019. My Group Aircheck 92019. Roger.
Roger. QSO, yeah, everybody else saying it, so I want to write that down. Thanks a lot, Jim. And I'll let you go to probably all the people that want to talk to you. Not running 100 watts. KA2FWC Mobile 73.
Well, I've been copying you on Milford at if you're 5 over the noise level at Milford, so you're doing a good job there. I just had trouble with you around Louisville on my local antenna. So 3's to you, sir, and you have a real good day and a great weekend. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor in the QSO-VLOG network.
73 KA2FWC Mobile.
And I'm going back to my 10-foot mag loop antenna locally around Louisville. This is KC9VKV in the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG network. KC9VKV listening.
India Foxtrot. Will you copy, sir? Over.
I copy you, sir, but come back with your call sign again.
Alpha Fox 3 India Fox AF3IF. Name is Irv, and I'm in eastern Pennsylvania.
Roger, Irv. And come back and tell me about your radio. What radio are you running, sir?
Okay, it's a KX3, but I need to get your call sign correct. It's a KX3 with the 100-watt amplifier.
Oh, your call sign is KX3?
My call sign is AF3IF. I need your call sign, please.
Roger. Call sign here is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. KC9VKV. The name is Jim Juliet India Mike, and we're located near Louisville, Kentucky. Roger.
Louisville, Kentucky. Okay. Go ahead again with the call sign. I missed it.
I'm sorry?
Your call sign, please.
I gave it to you twice just a minute ago. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. Roger.
Kilo Charlie 9 Kilo Victor Victor. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. This is the first time I've gotten this rig on the fire using an off-premises ISO, and wondered what kind of report I get out there. Over.
Okay, the correction on the call sign here is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. I repeat, Kilo, Charlie, 9, Victor, Kilo, Victor. Roger?
Roger. I got it. Don't ever get old. Thank you.
Tell me about, you have to get in line to tell me about that. How old are you, sir?
I'm 81.
Well, you're just a couple of years older than I am, sir. But don't take it for granted.
Yeah, isn't it fun getting old?
Well, sure. I go into rooms and say, what the hell am I doing here?
We got a beautiful day here in eastern Pennsylvania. And can you give me a signal report, please, off the meter? I'd be very curious.
Okay, my receiver's not set up like most folks. I run a very reduced RF level, so I can't give you an S meter reading, but I'm looking at your audio on a VU meter, and I have your audio set for 0 level, and when you cease speaking, the meter drops down and shows me the noise level. So I can say you are 10 dB over my noise level, Roger, which is a nice signal.
Okay, thank you very much. That's encouraging to me. I've had to, because of my age, I moved into my bedroom, and I've had to get a radio. I had to give up my KW station down in the ham shack, and we sold all the major equipment off, and just decided that we would get this KX3 because it doesn't take up any room, and it's in my bedroom, and for the computer, I run my mouse on the bedspread and the keyboard in front of me here on a little table. So I appreciate you coming back to me. You've got a nice signal here, a very nice signal. I just tuned the band till I heard somebody strong, and I figured if I can hear him well, hopefully he can hear me a little bit. So thank you very much. I get it right this time. KC9, Victor Kilo Victor.
Roger, Irv. Now, I could help you with that radio quite a bit if you knew where some of the stuff was that we needed to go, like if you knew how to engage your compressor. And if you knew how to read your ALC meter, we could do wonders, Roger.
Yeah, okay. I'm still learning all that stuff, but maybe we can meet up again sometime, and you can help me out. I'd appreciate that. That's probably what needs to be done. But right at the moment, I'm too excited to have to do that. So. Thank you very much for coming back to me. I appreciate that. It's fun to be on the air here in the bedroom, and this is the first time I've been at 40 meters for maybe 6 or 7 months since I sold the equipment. So, 7-3, take care, and stay out of the hot sun. KC9. Victor Kilo Victor, this is Alpha Fox 3, India Fox. Thank you.
Roger, Irv. Well, all those items that I just mentioned are inside your radio already. So I'll give you some homework. I'll give you a little homework to do, and then you can call me back after you make a cheat sheet. You know what a cheat sheet is? That is how you you check your manual and find out how you get to certain things, and you write them down, and you don't have to do the whole book, just some important items, and I'll give you a list of those items. The first item is how to get to your compressor, your processor, how to get to that processor, and then how to bring up your ALC meter, and then how to get to your mic gain control, your mic gain control, and then how to get to your equalization control. And so if you figure out, and write down how to get to all those places, come back and we'll set that radio up to, it'll sound twice as loud and twice as clean, or 3 times cleaner than it is right at the moment. Roger.
Roger. Thank you very much. I put it on my notes here under the heading of homework, so I will do that. I appreciate it. 73 again. AF3IF. Thank you.
Roger, Irvin. Also, if you get a chance between now and then to go by a music store to get a foam windscreen, I recommend a foam windscreen for your microphone. It doesn't do anything as far as obstructing any of the frequencies, but it does filter out all those mouth noises, pops, and stuff like that. So it just lets the words go through. None of the mouth noises or anything like that. Just the words. So it just is a beautiful device. Roger.
Yeah, where do you get that, Over?
Oh, I would go to any music store. Any music store would have foam windscreens, Roger, and you probably in 10 different colors. I would suggest a pink one.
Okay, the pink works the best. That's good.
Yeah, Roger, I won't say that I've actually tried a pink one, but no, they do have multicolors, so whatever is your favorite color, you can get it there. But the main thing is the foam windscreen will just do wonders for taking care of any noises other than words. Roger?
Roger. Thank you very much again. This is AF3IF Clear, 73.
Roger, Irv, 3Z-way, sir. You have a real good afternoon and a great weekend. And, if you get a chance to join us next Friday afternoon, we broadcast the QSO-VLOG network on this frequency, 7188, between 3:30 and 5. And we're recording all the time. And matter of fact, we have you recorded. If you want to hear what your audio sounds like, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our QSO-VLOG page, and on that page you'll be looking for QSO entitled My Group Aircheck 92019. My Group Aircheck 92019. This is KC9VKV and the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG network. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give us a shout.
73, thank you.
Now I do hear somebody way back in the back there, right just a couple of dB above my noise level. Station calling, come back and try it again. Sounds like French. Sounds like some French to me. Go ahead, sir.
No French, English. Good evening. Thank you very much for coming back. Big signal, sir. Big signal. Beautiful copy. Handle Van, Zulu Echo November, QTH London, Ontario. Back to you, my friend. How copy?
I copy you at 10 dB over my noise level on my local antenna. I'm running a 10-foot magnetic loop antenna headed 000 degrees right towards you, Roger.
Okay, well, anyway, nice talking to you. There was a Whiskey 1 calling to the other station. I hear him, Whiskey 1 something. I was just going to say hello. I'm just pressing by and I hear your big signal, so I'm going to tell you hello. Anyway, nice meeting you. You forgot to give me your name. Beautiful weather, 25 Celsius, about 77, 78. Beautiful, too hot for this time of year, but anyway, we'll take it. So, fall, the winter, not winter, summer coming to the end. The rest of the day, so fall is going to have a beautiful weather. Enjoy the weekend, thanks for the call. I didn't get your call either. Can you repeat your call and your name?
Yes, sir. I'll give you my name and my call if you'll give me your name and your call when I finish. My name is Jim, Juliet India Mike. The call sign is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, and I'm located near Louisville, Kentucky, located in Indiana, just across the river from Louisville. Now, come with your name and call sign slowly, please, sir.
Okay, Jim, thank you very much. Thank you. It's a nice signal, KC9VKV in Kentucky. Well, I tell you, every time I pass to Kentucky, somebody from Kentucky always gets a good signal report. So looks like I got the pipeline going that way, to Kentucky, North South Carolina, Tennessee, and Georgia. And always never fire with a good signal. I do not run big power. I run about 175 watts to inverted lead at 5017. The handle is Jan, Zulu Echo November, Jan, PDH, London, Ontario, and the call is Victor, America, number 3, Sugar, Zipper. So you got that, Jim?
Copied everything except the call sign. Give me the call sign one more time, and particularly the last letter, Roger.
Okay, it's a Sugar Zulu, Sugar Zipper, Santiago Zipper. You know?
Sugar Z, Roger.
Roger, you know, your signal went down to 4x4. You're now 4x4, terrible propagation. But anyway, nice talking to you, Jim. Thanks for the contact. Good luck in 73.
Roger, Z3 is that way. You have a real good afternoon, and like I say, I'm running 4 SDRs for the sake of some of our 100-watt friends. I run 4 SDRs, and I was copying you best on the Atlanta, Georgia SDR. You were going right over Louisville, right over my head, and I was picking you up down in Atlanta better than here. So that's the way Mother Nature is. So 3 sideways in, you have yourself a real good afternoon. Roger.
Okay, Jim, thank you very much. Well, the propagation is unpredictable, Often I think you can compare the politician to propagation.
Roger. Mother Nature sticks us again. Never a dull moment with Mother Nature. I guess that's what makes amateur radio so interesting. You just never know from second to second whether you're going to make the trip or not. Roger?
Yes, sir. I agree with you 100%. Anyway, enjoy the evening. Have a nice weekend. And I'm sure we'll be talking to you again. KC9 Victor Kilo Victor in Kentucky. Victor America 3 Sugar Zulu. Have a nice weekend, Jim.
Roger, Z3 that way, sir. Our pleasure here. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and this is the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG network. If you have a radio, you want to check out the audio, give us a shout. We are recording now live till 5.
W2JBO.
W2JBO.
Yes, sir, this is W2JBO. About 15 miles northeast of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, over.
Roger, I am picking you up on the Atlanta SDR, sir. What radio are you running?
The A2FTDX 3000.
Now tell me, is the FTDX, is there a space between the FT and the DX?
Not on the front of it.
So on the front of it, it just is FTDX, 4 letters, single space, Roger?
Correct.
And that was the 3000?
Roger.
Now tell me about that radio, sir. I have set up quite a few of those radios from the standpoint of the transmit audio. We have a setup procedure that is pretty much good for all radios. We do start with the compressor, the processor, and we suggest that you engage that processor, but only at about a 3. Only at a 3. Setting that you'll never hear on the air. You'll never hear that processor on the air, which is the way you want it. You don't want to hear somebody running a compressor with sucking up pots and pans and the wife and the kids in the next room between words, Roger.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not sure. I've got the processor on, but I don't recall what the level is, because I did change the setting on the front from processor to the RF power, so I've got to go to the menu and figure that one out.
Looks pretty good. Do you know how to get to your ALC meter?
I do. You would just think, because it won't allow me to get there while I'm keyed down.
Will it, after you get to it, will it stay open while you transmit?
Yes, sir. It sure will. And right now, it's, I don't know, probably 10 bars down from the max line for the ALC, which isn't all the way over. It's, you know, the thick part of the ALC is about halfway across the entire scale, and it's probably 10 bars down from that ALC max, if you will.
Roger, Roger. Where you want to be is mid-scale to 2/3 on that ALC meter. Mid-scale to 2/3 on your ALC. Roger, Roger.
Roger, Roger.
And that's, you know, you adjust mic gain to bring you to that mid-scale to 2/3 on the ALC. Mic gain control will, adjusting that will give you the mid-scale to 2/3 on your ALC.
All right, and I've got mic gain right now is set at about 12 on the 12 out of 100, I assume.
Roger, Roger. Well, the main thing is what you're doing on your ALC. The actual reading of the microphone level is relative to more important what you're doing on your ALC. And you want to adjust the mic gain to where your ALC is reading mid-scale to 2/3.
Okay, and it is showing right there, about 2/3, over.
Excellent, excellent. Then do you know how to get to your EQ?
Yes, sir. Let me make my way over there. Okay, I'm at the EQ.
Alrighty, and is that a 3-band or a 2-band EQ?
It's a 3-band.
Okay, we suggest keeping the mid-band, mid-range flat, plus or minus 0 flat on the mid-range. Roger.
Roger.
And then come with the top end, the treble control, about 3 clicks boost on your treble, about 3 clicks boost on your treble. And then tell me about your antenna system so I can hear your audio.
Okay.
Alrighty, so tell me about your antenna system.
The antenna is a 0.5 43-foot vertical with 6 elevated radials, and then a grid of metal in the ground underneath it as well. That's not actually tied into the antenna. It's just to kind of work as a reflector over.
Oh, Roger, Roger. Now we're playing a new game, which is called Watch Your Watt Meter. Like I have a actual VU meter in front of me that I'm watching both my level and your level, and I have spent about 50 years in commercial radio, so I've just watched meters all my life, it seems like. But I am finding that folks do not a lot of times have a close association between the intensity of the words they speak, you know, from time to time. And I found that if one were to watch his watt meter and look at it as a VU meter, in other words, if you could orient your watt meter that you could see it while you're speaking, you know what your normal zero level is, and then you can tell if you're lax on your audio like that, or you know, or you are where you need to be. So just by watching your, you know, diligently watching your watt meter, you can be your own best friend as far as the consistency of the words, you know.
See exactly what you're saying with it following your voice. I do have somebody here, so I appreciate you helping me out, but I've got to go answer the door. So thanks for picking me up, and we'll turn it back to you, KC9VKV.
Roger, Roger, and give me your name one more time in case I didn't write it down.
The name here is Brett, Bravo, Romeo, Echo, Tango, Tango, over.
Okay, and your call sign, please.
Whiskey 2, Juliet Bravo, Oscar.
Roger, Brett. Sometimes towards the end of the shift, we get a little too lax. I've got to tell these people to shape up or ship out. I don't know here, but anyway. So I got your name and call sign, and FYI, I have been recording between 3:30 and 5, and so if you want to hear what your audio sounds like, if you went to YouTube and did a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that would take you to our QSO-VLOG page, and on that page you'd be looking for one QSO entitled My Group Aircheck 9/20/19. My Group Aircheck 9/20/19. Roger. And I guess conditions have taken our toll. Brett, are you still there? Brett, wherever you are, sir, threes, have a great weekend. And if you get a chance, check back in next Friday and say hello, and we'll catch you later. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor and the QSO-VLOG network, fastly approaching becoming a pumpkin at 5 o'clock. We got about 7 minutes to go. If anybody wants to get an air check of their radio, give me a shout. KC9VKV.
Charlie 3 Zulu.
Charlie 3 Zulu. What's the name there?
Yeah, the whole call. November Charlie 3 Zulu. My name is Gary, Golf Alpha Romeo Yankee.
Gary, Roger. And what's the location, sir? Hello, Gary. Did you get stolen by gypsies? What's your location, sir?
With the North Carolina.
I'm sorry. We doubled. I got North Carolina. What's the town?
The town is called Merritt. Mike, Echo, Romeo, Romeo, India, Tango, Tango.
Ah, yes, sir. And what radio are you running, sir?
Running at 7,000 DLE.
I just switched antennas. Give me that radio again, please, slowly.
Apache Labs, Anon, 7,000 DLE.
Roger, I just switched over to my local antenna, and you blew my ears off. I'm running a 10-foot magnetic loop aimed at, right now, kind of northeast. I guess I should pull more east for you, Roger. I'm in Louisville.
Yeah, probably almost due east. Yeah, this is just a 7-foot tall inverted L. It's not much right now.
Sounds good. Let me see if I can pull my antenna around. Now this is, I'm just using the loop, the mag loop in the receive mode. I am transmitting on an inverted V, but pulling the loop around to 90 degrees, and we'll see what that does. Come back to me, sir.
Okay, yeah, just a short inverted alpha transmit on receive. I'm using a shared apex loop, a SAL30 for the receive portion of the station.
Oh, roger that, roger that. Well, what do you think of your radio, sir?
I really like it. It's got very good audio, I think, for transmit and receive audio is fantastic. With the noise reduction implemented in there, it's unbelievable. I've got, sitting next to it, I got a Flex 6600, had a 7610, 7300. By far, this Apache with the new Theta software just blows away the other radios in the receive, or recovered audio and receive capability.
Roger, yeah, I'm looking at your average percent of peak modulation. You are up there around 80-85%, Roger.
Okay, where do most people normally run at?
That's it. It's about 3 dB dynamic range. That's comfortable. That's loud. That's, unprocessed audio. Average peak modulation of unprocessed audio is 30%, and dynamic range of 10 dB. So you're 3 dB dynamic range and 80 to 85% average peak modulation.
Okay, yeah, I'm just been playing around with the audio. We've got some software's come out, past couple of days. They've come out with a few new versions, required a removal and rebuilding of the database, so I had to rebuild the transmit audio profile up again, and hopefully I got everything correctly. This has a, nice thing about this radio, it has a 10-band split, or a split, 10-band split band processor, or compressor.
Roger, roger. Now, I noticed that the beginning of that last transmission, were you off mic and turned into the mic?
Nope, same position.
Roger, roger, because it sounded just a little soft for the first couple of words, but the overall EQ is great, and like I say, the signal is great. I would recommend a windscreen for that mic. I recommend a windscreen for everybody's mic. It can do no evil and it does a bunch of good. It takes out all the stuff that you don't want to transmit.
Are you hearing wind noise? Because this microphone does have a windscreen.
I hear some strangeness other than words. Is that a foam windscreen?
Yes.
What mic is it?
It's an RE320.
Yeah, I'm catching a little, just a little, so I wouldn't think that, maybe you might want to try another windscreen. That one just seems like letting some blow-by go through, Roger.
Okay, yeah, I'll look into it. Yeah, I think when you heard I'm hearing some fading on you, so maybe that's why I was soft to start with. There's some QSB on the band right now.
Roger. Well, gosh, the radio just sounds really lovely, and it has a way of seeking its 100% mark, the limiting mark, Some radios have some blow-by problems that it'll creep on up a dB or two past their normal, zero, but yours tends to be holding it right at the zero mark, Roger.
Okay, well, this is just the mic straight into the radio, no external processing or anything else.
You're not running any EQ?
Just what's internal to the radio.
I'm sorry?
Just what is internal to the radio, nothing external.
Oh, Roger, yeah. Well, hopefully they put all that's needed in the radio, Otherwise, we'd be clamoring, say, hey, you left out the equalizer.
Well, I know a lot of guys run external equipment before they run it into their radios, but I don't do that here.
Yeah, you know, I think if they just utilize sufficiently what they've got in the radio, it usually do a good job. You know, of course, you have to start with a pretty good microphone to do that, Roger.
QSL, yep. You have to have a good mic.
Well, what was the name again?
My name is Gary, Golf Alpha Romeo Yankee.
I have that, Gary. I have it written down, along with your call sign NC3Z. Is that it, Roger?
That is correct.
Well, at least I found it. Sometimes by the end of the shift, I can't even remember my own name, Roger.
Okay, very good. Well, I think you said you're getting off at 5 o'clock, so it's right about, it's just at 5 o'clock now. So thanks for the contact, and I'll say 7-3, November Charlie 3 Zulu.
Roger, Roger. And that last few seconds of your audio was just perfect. And what we were having here is a little conditioned, well, you know, it's actually phasing. Phasing starts with, you know, the skip not all coming back at one time, being delayed and coming back slightly out of phase. And that skip phasing starts at the top end and works its way down. Sometimes it just hangs, and that was what was happening with some of your transmissions. And so the top end of your EQ was being phased and ripped off. Actually, but the last one you were in the clear, and it really sounded good. So if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our QSO-VLOG page, and on that page you'll be looking for an air check entitled My Group Air Check 9/20/19. My Group Air Check 9/20/19. Roger?
Roger, yeah, I'll take a listen to that and see what you all are doing with this net. All right, 7-3, NC3Z.
Roger, Roger. 3's that way, sir. And you have a real good afternoon, a great weekend. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. Anybody, we have room for one more. KC9VKV listening.
Kilo, Kilo.
November 9 Victor.
Boy, that was 4. That's no fair. And they were all pretty good signals. The loudest one, come back and try it again.
November 3,
November 9 Victor.
All right. The November 3 station, come back with your call sign again, slowly, phonetically.
Yeah, this is Norway 3, Whiskey, Bravo, Sierra.
Roger, and what's the name, please?
Name's Chuck, Charlie Hotel, Uniform Charlie Kilo, located on the Eastern Shore, Maryland.
Roger, Chuck. What radio are you running, sir?
It's a Flex 6300.
Roger that. What's the best thing you like about that radio?
It's easy to use, and I can see everybody talking.
Yes, the waterfall. And what mic are you running?
This is a Yaesu MD100.
Roger, Roger. Sounds good and looks good as far as dynamic range. You're running about 3 dB dynamic range, and the audio is about 80 to 85% peak modulation. Roger.
QSO, you sounded good here in Maryland, and figured I'd jump in here and say hi and bye to you because you're getting ready to shut down.
Yeah, we've been running since 3:30, so we do try to wrap it up about 5. Sometimes we're over that a little bit, but you got a great signal, and we are running a 10-foot mag loop right at you. What's your location again?
A little town called Fettlesburg on the eastern shore of Maryland, about a mile from the Maryland-Delaware line.
Roger. So we're facing pretty much due north from Louisville, so I guess we would be pretty close to you as a crow flies.
Yeah, it's not too far, probably, maybe 400 miles.
Yeah, Roger. All right, sir, and what kind of antenna system you got?
At the moment, I'm using the Mosley TA33 mic with the KR40 rotatable dipole kit at 55 feet for 40 meters.
What's the gain of that antenna?
Has no gain whatsoever. It's just a dipole connected to the tri-bander, and the only thing it does is gives you a little side attenuation, but no gain.
Does it give you any directionality?
Yeah. I mean, it's basically, works. The front to back is the same, but the only thing it gives you good side attenuation. Cuts out a little bit of signal, and the best part about it is, you can get it up there high enough to get some performance out of it.
Roger. Well, by the fact that it's a dipole, you are, dead off the ends, and so all that gain that you're not blowing off the ends is front to back and back to front, since it's non-directional that way, but it is directional from the standpoint of not wasting energy off the ends, Roger.
Yeah, exactly. So I can kind of null some people out. And it works pretty good. I like it. It's an old concept, been around a long time with Mosley, and I tell you the truth, I've tried multiple different kind of wire antennas, and I've never found a wire antenna to outperform that thing, ever.
Roger. Well, you should try an inverted V. I think an inverted V dipole is probably one of the most effective antennas that one could try. I've tried quite a few antennas, and this latest experiment, we have like I say, this 10-foot mag loop antenna, and we did some AB shootouts, and the mag loop couldn't touch the inverted V. I guess, actually the mag loop is more a receive item. That's what we're using it for now. And we just finished building another loop. This is a 17-foot loop, and we'll be running both of those. We'll have a rotary switch, which will be position 1 will be the 10-foot mag loop, position 2 will be the 17-foot mag loop, and position 3 will be a co-phase for both of them, Roger.
I've tried inverted V's, I've tried full wave loops, I've tried an 80 meter, would be 2 waves on 40, and even those didn't outperform this thing. And Mosley even says it on their website that, there is no wire antenna that will outperform it. I've tested that theory.
Roger. All righty. Well, let me jump out of here, sir. Let me say threes to you. You're sounding good. If you want to hear your audio, go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and that will take you to our QSO-VLOG page, and you'll be looking for our Aircheck called My Group Aircheck 92019. My Group Aircheck 92019, and we'll have that uploaded to YouTube within the next couple of days. Roger.
At QSL, I'll look that up, and appreciate talking to you today, and enjoy your weekend. So 7-3 from Maryland, it's 10-3 WBS.
Roger, check. Three's that way, sir. Catch you later. Have a good weekend. And if you get a chance, drop by next Friday afternoon. We are live until 5 from 3:30 on this frequency, 7188. Threes. And this is KC9VKV, and that will wrap it up for this QSO-VLOG Friday. We've enjoyed it. Hope you have also. And if so, then, go to YouTube and check out your audio if you were one that participated. If you do a call letter search, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our QSO-VLOG page, and we're running about 730 QSOs right now, but yours will probably be on page 1 if YouTube helps, and you'll be looking for My Group Aircheck 92019. My Group Aircheck 92019. So with that, we'll say threes all. Catch you later. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. It will be clear.
Really?
Now, what was that side side code? What did that say?
Have a good night. 7-3.
You said all that with 3 letters?
SK.
Threes all. KC9VKV clear. I I worked at a radio station one time that when you did the newscast, you had one of those bugs that you would do that same thing with between stories, and it was like, from New York, da 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 da. And the only problem was, see, this guy that built this radio station, he didn't know how to build power supplies. So everything in that radio station was controlled by batteries. And a lot of times those batteries would die. And you were sitting there looking like this. Catch you guys later. We're clear.